Latin Lover. That's right, this is a real movie. And yes, I actually did watch it about 2 weeks ago, and I'm finally reviewing it for you lovely people. This movie's about a character named Maximo, played by Eugenio Derbez, I think that's how you pronounce it. And basically this character, what he's done to be so successful in his life is marry someone who is much more successful than he is. He never has to work or do anything, even though there is a clear age difference between them. He's had a pretty good 25 years of marriage with this woman, until she cheats on him with a Michael Cera car salesman, so now he has to move back in with Salma Hayek and her son, Hugo, played by Rafael Alejandro, and he has to learn to get back on his feet. But getting back on his feet for him is finding someone else like his old wife and marrying her just for all her wealth and success, so he doesn't have to do anything. Now I know what you're all thinking after hearing this kind of plot synopsis. It sounds like it's unlikable, kind of cynical, it sounds like it's unbearable to watch, and that's exactly what I was thinking too. Well, at first I thought this is a fake movie, kind of like with 9 Lives. As soon as I heard the title, How to Be a Latin Lover, like there's no way they actually named a movie this. It turns out it is a movie though, and I did see this movie about 2 weeks ago. I haven't had the motivation to really review it, and unfortunately for you guys, I'm not going to be able to see Kingsman or Lego Ninjago yet this weekend, so I thought, hey, I already saw How to Be a Latin Lover, so let's just review it. So I was really going into this movie thinking might be on the same level as something like Dirty Grandpa, just of how ridiculous the title and the synopsis of the movie was. What I was kind of surprised by, though, is that not everything in this movie is completely deplorable. Now, there are some pretty stupid, kind of cynical, deplorable things about it, yes, but at the same time, the movie has a weird heart, I guess you could say. Basically what I mean by that is the main story involving Maximo's character getting back into his sister's life, played by Salma Hayek, trying to reconnect as siblings and also trying to be there for her son, Hugo. There was actually something there. Of course, this is something that you've already seen before, someone trying to reconnect with a family member or trying to get to know this kid that they've never met but they're related to. It's not original that much, but I think that if this movie really wanted to focus up on more of a drama of this character just trying to be there for the family, trying to be there for this kid, trying to correct things that he did wrong in the past, maybe this movie could have turned out to be pretty good. The main problem with the movie, though, is that it really wanted to just go more of a comedy route. So instead of doing that, they just decided, how about we have this character try to reconnect with his family, but also trying to get back on his feet by doing the same thing he's always done in the past, so that it can come back later for the traditional comedy third act, like how could you, Maximo, and then you can redeem yourself by the end of the movie and everyone loves you kind of plot. And some people might consider that a spoiler, that he actually does something that will eventually lead to his downfall in the third act, then he redeems himself. Like, it's not really that much of a spoiler though, it's pretty expected. Even the movie itself, with some lines of dialogue, kind of calls it out to you early on, like, yeah, it's gonna happen, look out for it. And I think that was kind of a lazy way to do it. I think if they actually focused up a bit and realized that maybe what they should be making should be more of a drama for this one character, then maybe it would have actually worked out more, but instead they had to go comedy route. So how is the comedy, you ask? I will admit, there are a few things that got me to laugh. The opening joke actually had me laughing. There's something that was in the trailer where Maximo puts on dye to look younger, but then he goes into a pool, and that was kind of funny in the movie. And there's also just a few other moments in the movie that actually surprisingly got me to laugh. Some of them were coming from Salma Hayek, who was really good in this movie. In fact, I think she was actually more of the standout. In fact, even her son Hugo, played by Rafael Alejandro, I think he was actually pretty good in this movie too. I could actually see a pretty good career for this kid, as long as he doesn't do more kid roles in comedy film. Because unfortunately, this kid character is stuck with the subplot of Maximo trying to teach him how to be a Latin lover like himself. Now basically, just stick with me for a second. Basically, the kid Hugo has a crush on this girl at school. And then Maximo finds out that that girl's grandmother is really rich and really famous, so he decides that he's gonna hook up with that grandma by hooking his nephew up with the young girl. So of course he has to teach him all the moves, how to talk, how to dress. So the kid is unfortunately kind of stuck in this subplot. I think he could have done much better for himself in this movie if he wasn't just tied down to doing the kind of more weird part of it. It's just kind of weird seeing an uncle try to teach his nephew, like, hey, here's how you hook up with this young girl while I go hook up with her grandma. That was just kind of weird. And Eugenio Derbez, I actually recognized him from Jack and Jill. I was kind of scared. He wasn't awful, though. There's no real, I'm kidding moment. It's just he's fine. There's a couple moments where I thought maybe his performance could lift up the character a bit, but at the end of the day, the writing for him is just not that great. Especially with seeing how his overall character arc is just doing the same thing he's always done. And I'm not kidding. At the end of the movie, the way he fixes, like, how he redeems himself is just doing what he's always done. And never changing. But there are a couple lines from him that I thought, they're okay, but for the most part, he just didn't come across as, like, good leading man or likable actor who can bring up this kind of unlikable role for me. But to also make matters worse for this character, his best friend, Rob Lowe, is doing the same exact thing he is, marrying older women that are more famous than he is so that he can just ride off their successes. And at one point, both Rob Lowe and Eugenio Derbez are both feuding over the grandma character. Rob Lowe gives him bad information about how to hook up with her. This fight that breaks out over this grandma that they want to marry just for money. And I was just like, why should I be entertained by this? This is actually pretty deplorable. Why am I watching any of these characters fight over this woman? I'd say that easily the most annoying parts of this movie were Rob Riggle and his brother in the movie. I guess they're this, like, partners who, like, put, like, ads on top of cars and you're not supposed to take, like, the paper off, but Eugenio Derbez takes the paper off and they, like, hunting him down, like, where's our money? And that was just, like, that was so unnecessary and just kind of forced. And I feel like that they just needed them to be there for unnecessary comedy drama. Not only does it just feel forced in because Eugenio has to get back at them, he has to redeem himself later, but also just because their jokes aren't that funny. There's like one joke involving a text message that I thought, alright, that's kind of funny. Other than that, Rob Riggle didn't really bring it for me, which sucks because I'm not a big hater on Rob Riggle. I think he can be pretty funny. Not in this movie though, and there's a scene where basically Rob Riggle has to be distracted by Rob Lowe while Eugenio Derbez tries to go in as costume, like sneak into their store to grab a GoPro camera for his nephew. And that whole sequence was really just kind of annoying to me. I didn't really think it was that clever or funny. It was just stupid and dumb. And at the end of the scene, I was just like, that's really mean-spirited. I surprisingly don't hate this movie, though. There's a few jokes that I kind of liked. Salma Hayek and Rafael Alejandro as the mother and son, easily the best of this whole movie. It's just that the lead character and Rob Lowe's character, there's just these two unlikable people that are feuding over these older women that they want to have sex with in order to get their success and their money so that they never have to work. It's like, how can I really like these characters? Even if their main goal is to redeem themselves later, how can I like them if you're writing for them for the beginning part is not going to be clever or smart in any way? And also, at first, I thought Kristen Bell's character was going to be the one where Eugenio Derbez was going to be like, you know what, at first I didn't think much of you, but you know what, I think you're the one for me. And they'd kind of like work off each other very well, like try to help each other out and then fall in love. That doesn't really happen, though, and I thought Kristen Bell's character wasn't too bad at the beginning. She's really peppy, really energetic, and I was like, alright, she's kind of cute in this movie, As the movie goes on, though, I just thought the joke with her just kind of got old, and I was like, if you're not going to do anything else with her character, then why did you want her in this movie to begin with? So overall, I can't really hate this movie, even though there's certainly things to hate about this movie, don't get me wrong. It's just that there's definitely things in it that I thought if you just expanded on this part more, just the more drama side of it, and maybe you cut back on more of the deplorable, unlikable stuff, then maybe you could have had a solid, maybe not amazing, but just solid kind of comedy drama if you really wanted to. It just felt like they were trying to go way more into the comedy, which isn't as bad as other comedies that I have seen that are just the worst of the worst, but this movie's still not pretty good either. I'm gonna give How to Be a Latin Lover a C-. I was flip-flopping between C- and D+, but really I think C- is the perfect grade for it, because at the end of the day, I'm not really going to remember this as like a movie that is gonna be like on an honorable mention of like worst of the year. This is just kind of a forgettable movie to me, honestly. Like, I'm definitely not going to remember it in like the next few weeks. I can barely remember some of it right now as I'm speaking to you. Maybe some people out there can find some entertainment out of this movie. I don't know, but if you do, congrats, dude. I'm just not one of those people. I didn't completely hate it, though. There's definitely worse comedies out there, especially during this year. This movie is just a forgettable bad one. But if you've seen How to Be a Latin Lover, leave in the comments below what you thought of it. And of course, I'm going to be seeing Kingsman on Monday, so I'll have a review out for you maybe Tuesday. And I'm not sure about Ninjago yet, but we'll see. As always, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe. I'm Jackson Fulcher. See you guys next time.